Right here on the right is your place.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
And then I sat in the chair and Dr. Balwi comes in and I said to him, "You know, I already can't see very well, but I'll have even more beautiful hair then, and I trust you completely. Hello everyone, I'm Jakob, 42 years old, and my life has changed completely in the last 6 months. Which I'm incredibly happy about. Hair loss has always been a huge and problematic topic in our family. On my father's side, it was always the case that everyone had really great hair, and on my mother's side, not. And that's why there were always very exciting discussions about hair. My mum was always very afraid that she would really lose all her hair. And yes, I also worried a lot about losing all my hair at some point. And then it just happened. You know how it is, unfortunately, you also inherit the impractical things from your family. And now you're probably asking yourselves, why did he have a hair transplant as a blind person? He doesn't even see himself in the mirror. But the world is full of people who can see, and I know that I am being seen and recognized, and I also know that first impressions count. That's why I think it's really important that you always make a good impression on people regardless of whether you have a disability or not. And I want people to look at me and say, "Hey, he looks good." My mum came back from Poland super excited and started telling me about the hair transplant procedure and that this method is already so advanced. So then I spoke to various clinics, but I've always been that kind of person. I don't make spontaneous decisions. It was very important for me to make a conscious decision in favor of a clinic, and then I came across Elithair on YouTube. For me, it is super interesting to do my research, and I am grateful in this day and age that platforms like YouTube are accessible, because otherwise I would never have found the Elithair clinic and others too. What I particularly liked about Elithair is that the people in the videos also spoke. There are many videos where you only have overlays, but if you can't see, you don't get as much out of it. Therefore, I think this is very important and provides a huge benefit for disabled people like me. In the videos, things were told with a lot of emotion and passion, and I really liked that. And there I was at the age of 42 and thought to myself, okay, if you do this hair transplant now, what is going to happen if you might lose all your other hair? What does that look like then? And I was totally torn, but then I thought to myself, hey, you're still relatively young. If that happens when you're 70, then it won't be an issue at all. And that gave me the final push. If you decide to do something like this as a blind person, then you have completely different expectations and also different needs. And I have to be honest, my expectations were absolutely exceeded at Elithair. The hospitality and treatment is great. There is no fear of contact, and the staff didn't hesitate to pick me up. You are simply touched at the hip, and I thought that was really great. The hospitality is simply unique. And my mum, who went with me, said, well, I didn't really have to come along because everyone is taking such good care of you. And yes, I still can't forget about it today. I think it's great. In the evening when you arrived, the first thing that happened to me was that blood was taken. And time-wise it was already very late, and yet everyone gave me a warm welcome. Well, no one complained about it being late already and that they are tired. Quite the opposite. Everybody was in a good mood and made us feel comfortable, and I think that is what clinics in Germany are missing. The warmth is simply unbroken, no matter what time of day. The next day, there was a really great hair analysis, and at some point I was sitting in the chair where another doctor started combing my hair and thinking, to the left or to the right. At some point I realized that she was feeling a bit insecure, and then she really did call Doctor Balwi, which I hadn't expected at all. And Doctor Balwi took another look at my hair in person and gave her some more tips. And then I just took the opportunity and said, Doctor, if I can't see well, then I'm happy that I'll hopefully have even more beautiful hair. And he was visibly touched by it and said to me, don't worry, we're going to do something great. Such a long day has flown by so quickly, and I will never forget the moment when I was ready to undergo my hair transplant. I had gone through all the preliminary examinations, and Furkan had been with me from the very first moment anyway. He explained every step to me, and even accompanied me into the treatment room, and I was so excited. And at some point he started talking to me, to distract me a bit, and said, Jakob. And even more funny, called me Master Jakob. like the classic song. And at some point I fell asleep. But it felt like he was there all the time. And there was so much empathy with him too. He was also worried and just wanted me to be okay. The operation took like 8 hours, but it seemed like 3 to me. I slept in between. It was great, super relaxed. Yeah, it's been 6 months now and I touch my head and it just feels really great. And once again, you can see that looks aren't everything. It also has to feel good. And somehow I've always given it a lot of time. I have said that I am curious to see what will happen, and I took a very relaxed approach. Suddenly I realized in the mirror that something had changed. And that was a really great moment for me. To realize this change for myself, although I only have under 1% C residue. So far, a lot of things have actually changed for me. I feel much younger and more comfortable. And that was also a very important moment for me. When I watched the YouTube videos, another participant had said, "I don't feel like I'm ready to be bald yet." And that was a very important moment for me, which I have to say was very inspiring. When you are researching, always remember this. It's always about your body and about you. What you do here with the people, that will accompany you for the next 30 years. In other words, the overall package is what must always be right, and don't let that dissuade you. So be sure to seek professional advice from the experts when you get the chance. Talk to people. They're empathetic, understanding and humorous. That's so incredibly important.